Did you realize your liver could be suffering in silence for years on end? Sadly, by the time we actually feel any symptoms, the damage is often already done. That's because this vital organ has no nerve endings, so it simply doesn't send pain signals, even when it's quietly breaking down. Today, we're going to reveal the top 5 everyday items that are truly devastating for your liver. And no, we're not just focusing on the usual suspects. I guarantee that at least one item on our list will be a bit of a shocker. So please do stay tuned right until the very end, because we'll show you not just the culprits, but also how to easily and deliciously replace them, giving your liver a proper chance at a fresh start. Now, before we dive into the list, let's just take a moment to consider what we're talking about. Think of your liver as the main filter, the essential engine room, and the tireless chemical factory of your entire body. It performs over 500 absolutely vital functions. It cleanses the blood of toxins, it assists with digestion, and it diligently stores all your essential vitamins and energy reserves. This thing works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in, week out. No bank holidays, no sick days. Whenever we put something harmful into our bodies, it is your liver that inevitably takes the biggest hit. When you truly grasp that, it becomes crystal clear why it is absolutely essential that we look after it properly and make conscious, healthy choices about what ends up on our plates. Right then, let's talk about the number 1 culprit. It's sweet, utterly tempting, and absolutely everywhere you look. We're talking about sugar, or, more specifically, its much sneakier cousin, industrial-grade fructose. Where it really hits hard is when it's in liquid form. Think of your fizzy sodas, those packaged juices, iced teas, and especially the energy drinks. This is essentially a sugar bomb going off inside your system. When you down a glass of one of these, your liver gets hit with a massive shock dose of fructose that it simply cannot process. It can't use all that energy right away. So, left with no other option, your body's only choice is to immediately kickstart emergency fat production. This process is quite similar to the way your liver handles a bit too much alcohol. Any excess fructose is quickly converted into triglycerides, essentially a type of fat that gets stored right inside the liver cells. Over time, this relentless buildup leads to something called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or NAFLD. Just picture your body's main filter literally becoming clogged with fat, slowly grinding to a halt. Shockingly, this condition now affects 1 in 3 adults and is a direct pathway to far more severe issues, like chronic inflammation and even cirrhosis. And to think, it often starts with nothing more than what seems like a perfectly harmless tin of fizzy drink. Now, many of you might be thinking, hold on a minute, if fructose is the problem, doesn't that mean fruit is bad for us too? This is a very common myth that we need to clear up right now. Yes, fruit does contain fructose, but it comes in its natural protective packaging. It's delivered alongside water, essential vitamins, minerals, and most crucially, fibre. This fibre drastically slows down the absorption of the sugar, preventing that sudden, harmful spike to the liver. Now contrast that with high fructose corn syrup, the stuff added to fizzy drinks and sweets. This is pure concentrated poison for your liver, stripped of any beneficial properties whatsoever. What on earth should we be drinking instead of those sugary options? The answer truly is incredibly simple. You must start with plain, clean drinking water. It is the best friend your liver and your whole body could ask for. If you find plain water a bit dull, why not jazz it up? Add a slice of lemon, an orange segment, or perhaps a few sprigs of fresh mint. Herbal teas are another splendid alternative, provided they are unsweetened. Think chamomile, peppermint, or ginger. Not only do these quench your thirst, but they also boast excellent anti-inflammatory properties. By taking this very easy step, you will have removed one of the greatest sources of unnecessary strain on your liver. Let's move on now to the second item on our list. This is the invisible killer lurking in countless products, right there on the supermarket shelves. I'm talking, of course, about trans fats. These are artificially created fats, produced by the hydrogenation of vegetable oils. Manufacturers absolutely love them because they're cheap, they extend shelf life considerably, and they improve the texture of their products. You'll find them everywhere, in margarine and spreads, shop-bought pastries, cakes, biscuits, crackers, crisps, prepared ready meals, and naturally, in fast food. If it's crunchy and it seems to last forever, it's highly likely to contain trans fats. So why exactly are these things so dangerous? Simply put, trans fats are entirely foreign invaders to our system. Our bodies simply don't know how to properly handle or break them down. Once they're inside, they immediately trigger widespread systemic inflammation. And the organ that takes the first major hit, of course, is the liver. Trans fats actually embed themselves into the membranes of our liver cells, completely disrupting how those cells function. This quickly leads to something called oxidative stress, damaging the liver cells and causing even greater accumulation of fat within the organ. Regular consumption of trans fats dramatically increases the risk, not just of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, but also of developing far more severe conditions like fibrosis and ultimately even cirrhosis of the liver. So, how do you spot this sneaky enemy? It's simple. You have to read the labels carefully. If the ingredients list mentions partially hydrogenated vegetable oil, cooking fat, margarine, or dairy fat substitute, then you should immediately put that product back on the shelf. Don't let that attractive packaging fool you. For example, seemingly harmless biscuits or wafers can contain up to 50% trans fats as a portion of the overall fat content. That's a massive blow to your health, a terrible thing you are doing to yourself with every single bite. Steer clear of these products completely. The good news is, replacing those trans fats is wonderfully straightforward. Ditch the margarine and those modern spreads altogether. Instead, opt for good, old-fashioned, quality butter, used of course in moderation. Or, if you prefer, go for unrefined natural oils such as olive, flaxseed, or coconut oil. And here's the crucial bit. Stop buying that shop-bought bakery stuff, which is often just loaded with unnecessary chemicals. Make an effort to bake things yourself at home. A simple homemade sponge or a batch of shortbread, lovingly made with real butter, will be 1,000 times healthier, and let's be honest, infinitely tastier than anything you'll find in the supermarket. When you bake yourself, you have total control. You know exactly what's going in, and you can guarantee the quality of every single ingredient. Let's look at the next culprit. Our third common enemy is something we often completely overlook, and that is simply too much salt. Yes, just your ordinary, everyday table salt. Now, of course, sodium is absolutely vital for the body. We need it to regulate our water balance and for the nervous system to function properly. The difficulty is, however, that modern diets mean we are consuming far, far more than the recommended daily allowance. And here's the key danger. It's not the salt shaker on your table that's the main problem. It's the hidden salt found everywhere in processed foods and ready meals. How exactly does too much salt hurt your liver? First off, consuming too much sodium causes your body to hold on to water, and that in turn bumps up your blood pressure. This puts an enormous extra strain on all your vital organs, and that certainly includes the liver. Secondly, and this is the really worrying part, studies clearly link excess salt to the development of something called liver fibrosis. What is fibrosis? Well, it's basically when the healthy working parts of your liver start being replaced by scar tissue. Essentially, your liver starts to harden up. When that happens, it can't function properly, and it's a major sign that cirrhosis might be coming next. In simple terms, the salt is literally deforming and damaging those crucial liver cells. Now, you might feel you aren't consuming a huge amount of salt, but let's have a quick check, shall we? Do you regularly eat sausages, bacon, or ham? What about tinned or canned vegetables, fish, or meat? Do you use ready-made sauces like soy sauce, ketchup, or mayonnaise? Do you buy ready-made soups, instant noodles, or perhaps a frozen pizza? All these products contain absolutely massive amounts of salt. Manufacturers rely on it, not just as a flavour enhancer, but crucially, as a cheap preservative. It's quite possible that a single serving of just one of these items could meet your entire recommended daily allowance of sodium. What should you do? Start with one very simple rule. Cook your own meals at home, using fresh, whole ingredients. That way, you have total control over exactly how much salt goes in. Instead of reaching for the salt cellar every time, open up a whole new world of natural herbs and spices. Things like garlic, onion, black pepper, paprika, turmeric, oregano, and basil, plus a little lemon juice or vinegar, can give your food a truly incredible depth of flavour and aroma, all without a single unnecessary grain of salt. Your taste buds will quickly adjust, and you'll start tasting the true, genuine flavour of your food. And perhaps, best of all, your liver will thank you for it. Our fourth enemy on the list is a category of foods many people consider the bedrock of their daily diet. We're talking about refined or simple white carbohydrates. This covers things like white bread, standard rolls, white rice, semolina, standard white pasta, and almost all common breakfast cereals and flakes. The real snag with these products is that during processing, they are stripped bare of all the good stuff, the fibre, the vitamins, and the essential minerals. What remains is practically just starch, which once inside the body, behaves almost exactly the same way as ordinary sugar. When you tuck into a plate of white pasta, or perhaps a simple white bread sandwich, these things are digested lightning fast, and that triggers a very quick and dramatic spike in your blood sugar. To deal with this surge, your pancreas immediately dumps a huge amount of insulin into your system, essentially trying to hustle that sugar into your cells. But if there's simply too much sugar flooding the system, your cells become overwhelmed and can no longer take it in. And that's when your liver steps back in. It mops up the leftover glucose from the bloodstream and, you guessed it, promptly converts it into fat. Crucially, the mechanism is exactly the same as the one we see working with fructose. A lot of folks hear about this and immediately panic, deciding to cut out carbohydrates completely. But that's a big mistake, really. Carbs are absolutely essential. They are the primary fuel source for both our body and our brain. Let's clear up that myth right now. You absolutely do not need to cut them out. What we need to learn is simply how to choose the right kind of carbohydrate. The good ones, often called complex carbohydrates, are those packed with dietary fibre. This fibre slows down digestion beautifully, allowing glucose to enter the bloodstream smoothly and keeping you feeling full for ages. Crucially, it does this without putting unnecessary strain on your liver or pancreas. Making these small changes is wonderfully straightforward. Instead of your usual white loaf, do try wholemeal or rye bread. Swap out white rice for brown, black or red varieties, or perhaps some healthier grains like buckwheat, quinoa or bulgur wheat. When buying pasta, always stick to the hard wheat varieties and, please don't boil it to death. And instead of those sugary breakfast flakes, why not prepare a proper slow-cooked porridge in the morning? These simple shifts in your diet won't just look after your liver, they'll also give you a lovely boost of energy, improve your digestion, and help you keep the weight managed. And finally, let's turn to point number 5 on our list. It might be the most obvious one, but that certainly doesn't make it any less critical. We are talking about alcohol, but here I want to draw your attention to one crucial detail, a critical nuance perhaps, that many people either simply aren't aware of, or perhaps prefer to ignore. We are talking about the myth of the so-called safe limit, or safe dose. Sadly, when it comes to the highly sensitive cells of your liver, the concept of a truly safe amount of alcohol simply does not exist. Any quantity of ethanol, regardless of how small, is classified by the body as a toxin, and it is your liver, and only your liver, that is responsible for neutralizing that poison. When alcohol hits the liver, the cells immediately kick into overdrive, working hard to break it down into something the body can handle. Now, this process creates acetaldehyde. That's a highly toxic compound. It actively damages your liver cells, causing inflammation and what we call oxidative stress. If you drink regularly, even if it's just a little bit, your liver simply doesn't get enough time to repair itself. This chronic inflammation then starts a dangerous progression. It begins with alcoholic fatty liver disease, moves on to alcoholic hepatitis, and eventually, the worst outcome, cirrhosis. Cirrhosis, as you know, is an irreversible condition where that healthy liver tissue is replaced entirely by scar tissue. Just picture this. Every single evening you pour yourself a nice glass of wine, perhaps thinking it helps you unwind, or even that it's beneficial for your heart health. While you might see it as a pleasant, comforting ritual, your liver sees it as clocking in for a daily, unprotected overtime shift in a highly toxic chemical factory, day in, day out, year after year. Eventually, those internal production capacities simply wear out, and the whole system grinds to a halt. And here's the most alarming part. It often breaks down silently. You might not feel a single thing until 75%, or even more, of your liver function has already been permanently lost. What could possibly replace it? Well, naturally, the very best replacement for alcohol is simply deciding to leave it out of your life entirely. Your body, and your liver especially, will thank you endlessly for such a wonderful gift. Now, if you're looking for an alternative for those social gatherings, or simply to create a nice special atmosphere, you'll be delighted to know there's a tremendous range of quality non-alcoholic wines, beers, and even spirits available nowadays. Or why not mix up some delicious, attractive mocktails using fruit juices, cordials, and sparkling water? Remember, look after your liver. After all, you've only got the one. So let's wrap things up and summarize. Sweet drinks, trans fats found in baked goods and fast food, the hidden salt lurking in ready meals, simple carbohydrates and alcohol. These are the 5 main horsemen of the apocalypse, threatening your liver health. You now know your enemies by name, and crucially, you are armed with the knowledge of how to fight back, using healthier and genuinely tasty alternatives. But here is the most astonishing and encouraging fact of all. Your liver is a truly unique organ. It possesses an incredible natural ability to heal and restore itself. By simply cutting these harmful products out of your diet, you are not just stopping the damage, you are giving your liver a genuine chance at a second life. You can start this journey today with just one simple step. For instance, swapping out that glass of fizzy pop for a refreshing glass of pure water. Thank you so much for watching this important video all the way through. If you learned something new and found this useful, please do hit that like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our future videos about staying healthy. Now, a quick question for you. Which product on this list came as the biggest surprise? Let me know your answer in the comments below. Let's get a discussion going.